Now I know what you're thinking. The title of this session says DSP. Now, for some of you, this is a walk in the park. But for many out there, this could be a daunting task. Well, not to worry, because to the rescue comes Metra's Axxess DSP line of solutions that'll really help you get integrating into some of these vehicles. Today, we've got Metra's Research and Development Vice President Jason Anderson joining us, and we're going to break down 4 brand new applications that you need to know about. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Axxess DSP. And it starts now. What's going on, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and today we're talking DSP by Axxess. Yes, a complete suite of solution-based products that are literally plug and play. Everything that you need is in fact in the box. And with the vehicles that are coming into shops these days, it's certainly not getting easier to integrate. Well, we're going to explore 4 brand new products being launched by Axxess that is going to make your installation job that much easier. Jason, welcome back to the show. What are we going to be talking about on today's episode?
Hey, Ben. Thanks for having us. Yeah, like you were saying, I mean, we've got some pretty popular products that are here on the table today. We've got ETH1, which is a GM Bose interface, Ford A to B, which is some of the B&O systems that are out there, Hyundai Kia applications for those SPIDIF vehicles, and then we have MOS 25, which is a lot of the European vehicles. So we're excited to talk about it all.
All right, Jay, we're going to dive right into them. But first, an opportunity for our partner, SiriusXM, to remind everybody why it's always a great ad on sale. And when we come back, I got Jason Anderson from Axxess. Don't you dare go away.
Hi, Paul Truman here with SiriusXM. We reached out to some of our partners in the industry, and here's what they had to say.
I can't say more or enough about just what it means to have our unit working with SiriusXM. It's like we're there now.
The SiriusXM service is something consumers want, right? So it's Paul.
That allows a consumer to listen to either podcasts, entertainment, sports, all at their fingertips. It's all about engagement, and that's what SiriusXM provides.
SiriusXM is a huge component in a vehicle nowadays. Consumers expect that technology to be available both in our OEM system as well as the aftermarket upgrades that they're applying to their vehicle.
Alpine and SiriusXM, through our electronics, are able to offer the consumer on the aftermarket side SiriusXM 360L, which is an expanded platform for SiriusXM. And it's really been a beneficial relationship for us with SiriusXM.
As a dealer, just remember, we don't compete with anybody else. We are absolutely one of the best profitability accessories you can add to any head unit that is SiriusXM ready.
All right, welcome back to the show. If you're just tuning in, we're talking Axxess DSP. We've got the man of the hour, Jason Anderson, with us today. Now, Jason, before we get into these specific applications, for those who may not be aware, Axxess DSP really represents something special. And I say that because it is truly a solutions-based offering, a suite of products that can really help installers integrate into some of these modern vehicles. So give us a brief overview of what this suite of products is for those who need to know.
I'd be happy to, Ben. So all the vehicles are changing nowadays, and they're changing incredibly rapidly. You can't really just replace the radio anymore in a lot of these newer vehicles, but a lot of the customers want to add in aftermarket equipment. That's where the Axxess DSP-X product line is really going to help them take that step and offer that customer solution when they come into their stores.
Well, for me, Jay, I think one of the best things when it comes to any product from Metra really is the amount of research and development that goes into these products. There's an incredible amount of variables, testing different scenarios, different CAN buses, and all this type of stuff. But today we're talking about these solutions, which you claim to be plug and play. So I want to ask you, just how plug and play is plug and play?
Yeah, you know, they are plug and play. They're plug and play for a couple of reasons. One is we have all of the OE connections, connectors and terminals. They're included with the interface. So they're going to plug directly into that vehicle specific harness, right? And then the other side of that, we've got obviously our connections that plug directly into our box, which we only use the highest end of Molex connectors. And then we're also providing in some of our unique DSP products, like you're seeing on this table here, we provide amp bypass harnesses as well. So you don't have to go out and buy that extra amp bypass harness to get that product or equipment installed. These amp bypass harnesses, they just make the job just that much easier. Plus we have charts that tell you in this particular vehicle, you're going to use this wire for front right positive. You're going to use this wire for front left negative. So we do all the heavy lifting and we do all the hard work for you. It's just opening it up, plugging it in, reading through the instructions, and making your connections.
At the top of the show, I mentioned that many shops, even today, when they hear the term DSP, it could be intimidating, it might be daunting. But I want to clarify a couple things because some of the things that are involved when integrating into these more complex vehicles and getting a DSP set up, we're talking about words like summing, stuff like polarity testing and bypasses. How do these solutions make it easier for installers?
That's a great question. And I would say that the easiest answer is that all of that stuff that's set up from the factory, whether it's, if you're adding in like an aftermarket LOC or anything like that, you got to worry about summing the channels together to get a full range output. Sometimes factory amplifiers have special filters or special time delay, and that stuff is all built into the amplifier. What's pretty common nowadays is to have like engine noise in the vehicle as well, like fake engine noise. So the amplifiers from the factory, they house all of that information, right? Well, with the Axxess DSP product, you're going to get rid of that factory amplifier. When you get rid of that factory amplifier, all of those problems are gone. You've got a straight RCA low-level output, which is 5 volts out, by the way, and it's a flat full-range signal. It's going to keep the factory volume control functioning in the vehicle. You're going to retain your fade and balance. So you don't have to worry about all of that other stuff that we had to in the past. You basically use the Axxess DSP. It's an interface solution that processes audio, and because it processes audio, we can offer DSP functionality like 31 band graphic EQs, crossover points, time delay. All of that stuff is built directly into the DSPs. You don't have to use all those advanced features if you don't want. You could just use it as an interface. You can add in any aftermarket DSP that you see fit, that you guys sell in your shops. We're not worried about what you're using. We just want you to have an interface solution that's going to make it as easy as possible for you to install your aftermarket equipment.
One last question, Jay. You said a key word there, and that key word was retention. And with these more complex vehicles, sometimes customers are always concerned that they might lose some of the features or functionality from their high-tech vehicles. How does Axxess, adjust for that and make sure that that retention is always, there for the customer?
I think first and foremost, it's going to come down to our development team. Our development team, we go out, we get vehicles into the bay all day, every day. We end up testing them, and we recreate anything that the factory did. What is very common in GM vehicles is the factory amplifier manages your turn signal clicks as well as your chimes, safety chimes, whether it's your headlight warning chime or your door open chime or whatever it is. If you remove that factory amplifier, you lose that information. So the Axxess DSP in that circumstance recreates it. All right, on the other side of that, if you weren't going to be using an Axxess DSP and you're going to use an active LOC or something like that, you're keeping that factory amplifier in line and you're tapping into the output side of that amplifier to get your audio. When you're amplifying that audio, you're also amplifying the chimes, you're amplifying the turn signal clicks, and there isn't really a good way to control those overall levels. That's where the DSP product really sets itself apart, and that's why we can retain a lot of those vehicle features and functions because we've interfaced with the vehicle, and that's the primary difference.
All right, Jay, thanks for taking the time to kind of go through these unique feature sets that the Axxess DSP offers. I think after hearing those things, certainly if you had any apprehension towards this type of solution, I think those should be gone away. I think Metro's thought of everything. So let's get into the goodies. We've got 4 different new platforms now available from Axxess to help you with your installation. Let's start with the first one, a very popular one, in fact, because it covers the more recent Ford models called A2B. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, Ford came out in 2017 with a new style of communication, like an A to B style communication, and us developing an interface for that, for those applications, it was a pretty daunting task. I mean, just to go back and what we call, sniffing the code in these vehicles. It was a whole new platform for us. So the development time on this was pretty extensive, and our application range and coverage is really extensive. So when we're talking about some of the more advanced OE DSP products, the installation of those products are going to be done at the amplifier. So Ford A to B, you've got that A to B plug on it. Unplug that A to B connector, plug it directly into our DSP, wire up the amp bypass harness, plug everything in, go into the app and set it up, and you're off to the races. It's just that easy. We found different variations in some Lincolns, some of the newer Fords. The DSP is going to cover those applications. So it's been a great product for us. It's hard to keep on the shelf at times, but again, it's going to work for you.
All right, so that covers all the newer Ford platforms. Great to see that there is a solution now for that A to B interface. Let's move on to another popular model or collection of models, which is through the new Chevrolet models that have Bose systems. Yes, the famous Bose system that is very, very hard to integrate into, but not anymore, because now we have a model called the ETH1.
Yeah, Ben. So, I mean, this type of communication was even harder to break than the A to B communication. GM's Ethernet. Coming up with a solution for that vehicle, it took us quite a while to do it. But I'm very happy to say it's a solid quality product. It's going to do everything that the customer and the installer is going to need it to do in order to add in that aftermarket equipment. So, again, this one is another one that's very hard to keep on the shelf. Because it is so popular. And let's face the facts, there's a lot of vehicles that are on the market or on the road today with OEM Bose systems. Those systems don't sound very good. They want to add in their own equipment, and this is going to help them do that.
All right, the next one that we're going to be talking about is another category that covers an incredible amount of vehicles on the road these days. Because I remember when Hyundai Kia started, it was slow to get going, but man, it is undeniable the sheer amount of Hyundais and Kias that are on the road today. And guess what? Axxess now has a solution for those vehicles as well.
Yeah, Ben, it is kind of crazy to know to see how far Hyundai and Kia have come over the years. They've stepped up their game a lot. The interior design of their vehicles have just dramatically changed over the years, which means that their audio systems have changed too, and they've been upgraded. So we have a SPDIF solution. SPDIF is another type of communication that's found in vehicles, typically Hyundai Kia, some Hondas, but having an interface solution where you can keep that factory radio and add in your aftermarket equipment for your customer is really, this is the only solution. It's the only solution on the market. It's a great, easy to use solution. And again, it comes with the amp bypass harness. So it makes the wiring and connections to the factory speakers, factory wiring inside the vehicle, just that much easier.
All right, Jason, I've saved maybe one of the most intriguing ones for last, but certainly covers a wide range of vehicles. And for installers tuning in, you know all about the MOST 25 protocol, but that's for European vehicles. So what has Axxess done to be able to service these vehicles?
Yeah, you want to talk about a popular audio style of amplifier that's out in the market from the OE, it's pretty much MOST 25. All of your European applications, Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, especially over here in the US, almost all of them are going to have amplifiers or some type of amplification. So if you have that fiber optic MOST 25 amplifier in your BMW, Mercedes, this is really going to be the solution for you. Axxess has a MOST 25 DSP solution for you and your customers. They can get rid of that amplifier, pull it out of the system entirely. The fiber optic connections plug directly into our Axxess DSP product. And then again, you can log into the app, download the app, log into it, and make all of your adjustments directly from your iPhone or your Android device. So it's a great product. It's been selling, again, hard to keep on the shelf, but I think a lot of that is because it is a plug and play style solution specifically for those MOST 25 applications.
All right, so there you have it. That's Jason Anderson talking about some new solutions that address certain platforms that are available now. We covered A to B with Ford. We covered the ETH1 for the new Chevy Bow systems. We talked about the SPIDIF solution for both Hyundai and Kia and other select vehicles. And of course, we just talked about the MOS 25, which pretty much covers all the modern, European vehicles out there. So let's round this out. We know this is plug and play. This is going to help your installs. It's going to make it easier. One thing that we didn't talk too much about was the interface. And something I wanted to ask you, maybe you can just speak to it real quick, Jason, is that Axxess has made this super simple to set up. You don't need this powerful laptop. It actually works with an application, which is free, of course, available to both Android as well as iOS devices. So talk to us real quick about the final step here, which is tying in, all the once everything is installed, how you're going to finally dial in everything for the customer.
Yeah, Ben, you hit on some key points, right? It's app-based, so whether it's an Android or an iPhone or Apple-based device, you go online, download the AX-DSP XL app, connect to the DSP, you select your year, make, and model vehicle directly through the app, you lock that down, and it basically tells the DSP what vehicle it's in. When it determines what vehicle it's in, audio is going to present itself through the system. So, and that's where you're going to be able to adjust your crossover points, your graphic EQ. There's even a parametric EQ built into the app as well. Time delay, and if you do have something unique like chime level control or turn signal clicks like we're seeing in some of the new GMs, you can adjust those directly through the app. So it's easy, it's simple. Everybody has a phone nowadays. Everybody. You don't have to have a computer in order to set this up. Now, to stop other people from accessing your DSP, like at a car show or something like that, it's password protected. So you as the installer or you as the owner of the vehicle can set a password on the app and lock that down so that only you have access to it. So it's a little added security, especially from the installer's side of things. You want them going in and adjusting things and messing up the tune that they paid for. You can lock that down from them. So it's a really great app. It's easy to use, and the product it's tested. It's market tested, installer tested, and it works.
And that was Metra's VP of Research and Development, Jason Anderson, joining us on today's Connected, giving us the full breakdown on a couple of these new applications coming to you from Axxess DSP. Now, if you're interested in finding out more specs, more details, head on over to the official website. We'll put it on the screen right now, metraonline.com. Now, here's my takeaway. Guys, stop thinking that DSP is complicated. Technology has caught up, and brands like Metra have put in the time, the resources to come up with the solutions. It's evident. It's all in the box. It's plug and play. It's with your smartphone. In fact, you don't even have to get behind the radio to do any of this stuff. Not only are they taking away all the mystery and the magic about summing and bypasses and all this type of stuff, it is literally click, 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 as you know Metra is good at, and away you are to the races. This is an opportunity for you to stop saying no to customers. The solution is there. All it takes is a little bit of investment on your time to not only make sure your staff understands how to sell this properly to your customer, but also bill accordingly for it. The solutions are there. Let's get these sound systems into people's cars, regardless of the platform. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.